Test. Good evening, family and friends, and welcome to the third annual African American Advisory Council Black History Month event. It's so good to have y'all with us today. We are excited about this talented 10th spoken word edition of our Black History Month event. We're excited to have all of you students here with us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you also to our artists who painted some beautiful pictures for us. My name is Pastor David Rosa Jr. I am the vice chairman of the African American Advisory Council. I'm also the pastor of Cruciform Church, the president of the Real Talk Mentoring Program, and a Florida Department of Corrections chaplain at the South Florida Reception Center. It is my great joy and privilege to be here among such great people today. And I got to tell you, I am just grateful to God that we get a day to celebrate Black history here in our country. I'm going to tell you why. You see these clothes that are pressed real nice? They about worn out by now, but they pressed because there was a Black inventor who invented a great ironing board, who made it able for me to iron my clothes without breaking my back on the bed. Hey, y'all not with me. Y'all not with me. Y'all not with me. I'm grateful today because of the contribution of my Black brothers and sisters who have made life for us here in the States so much better. I'm grateful for the contributions of not only those who have gone before us so many years ago, but I'm grateful for the contributions of so many who today continue to create a better world, a more beloved community for us all right here. One of the great men who's contributed to my life greatly and who is also contributing to the city and to you all who I celebrate on Black History Month is my good friend Tony Grisby, Anthony Grisby. Won't y'all give him a hand of applause? He is our African American Advisory Council liaison with the city of Hollywood, Florida, and he has been working his tail off to create educational experiences that empower and benefit people of color all throughout our city. So if you would, won't you give him one more hand of applause as he gets ready to share with you.
Good evening, good evening. All right, I just want to take a little bit of your time because I want to make sure that we don't miss thanking people. Sometimes we get in a hurry and we get by that, especially me. I get busy here. I want to thank our commissioners that came out to visit us. Commissioner Biederman. Commissioner Biederman, who's typically with us every year, and his wife, Donna Biederman, who helped us out this year. All right. All right. Commissioner Blattner. Commissioner Blattner, who donated books that we gave out on the 12th. There's other people that make this happen. Henry Graham. All our events are done through Liberia Economic and Social Development, Inc., and we do this in cooperation and collaboration with the Barry University. Dr. Glenn Bowen is here representing Barry University. He's been with us every year. Doing this without Dr. Bowen, this does not happen. Also, this year we had an art contest. We had another contributor, Sweetie Hearts, through one of our council members, Miss Georgette Lashley Wiggins. She's here with us this evening, who donated prizes to kids that, I don't know if any of you saw the paintings downstairs on the first floor, but they were very good. And of course, our judges, who you'll hear about later. And one particular judge I want to thank is Butterfly, who's stepping up for MC for us. There was a confusion. Obviously, I'm not Donovan Campbell. So there's been some changes, and Butterfly stepped up to do that for us. And I thank you very much. And if I missed everybody, AT&T, Daphne Dilbert, who will be presenting prizes later for our winners. And let me see if I missed anybody else. If I did, I apologize. Oh, our DJ, Dallas Martin, who has stepped up for us. And I point out all these people because this is a collective effort. It is rock soup. These people are not paid. These are pro bono efforts. And that's why the energy is always so great here. And I enjoy it very much. Thank you. Let me get your host back.
It was President Gerald Ford in 1976 who decided to expand the week in which we celebrate Black History Month to a full month. And the reason he gave for it was he said that the country needed to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every endeavor throughout our history. I agree, I gotta agree with him that it is a grace that we don't take just one day to celebrate the accomplishments of our brothers and sisters of color, but that instead we take a whole month. See, it wouldn't be due justice to just take out one day. We got to do it all month long, and after that, we got to do it every single day. Because as we celebrate Black history, and as we consider the contributions of people of color, what we do is we recognize and celebrate how God has richly created and endowed us each, no matter what our skin tone, with great intellectual, cultural, as well as spiritual capacities that come and benefit everyone greatly. I'm honored today to join you in this time of celebration as we think thoroughly about Black migration, how our African American brothers and sisters and people from the African diaspora journeyed throughout the states and settled to create places and spheres of safety and influence for all of our families and ancestors who have made it all the way to the White House in these last several years. It is a great history. It's a rich legacy, and it's an all-transforming power that we find in the Black culture and community. I, as an Afro-Latino, celebrate with you all today as I consider myself not just a friend, but a part of our great African diaspora. If you would, won't you take just one moment with me now as we take a moment of silence considering those who have gone before us, honoring their legacies, and as I lift up a prayer to God, our Creator. God in heaven, you are the creator and sustainer of everyone and all things. In this world of chaos and conflict, we look to you for peace and serenity. You are able to create beauty out of imperfection. You are able to create from a history of oppression and burden and injustice a legacy of victory and of progression and of excellence. So we celebrate today you, for you and you alone have been the one who's kept us through it all. Thank you that you've created us with such strength, with such power, and with such ability that we could journey throughout these states and settle to create a better place here in these United States. Amen. Without further ado, I want to welcome to the platform today Ann Lewis as she lifts up the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Won't you welcome her with a round of applause?
May we all please stand to our feet.
Does everyone have the program and the words?
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun, let our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the roads we trod, bitter the chastening rods, felt on the day when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat, come now my weary feet, come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way where our tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood and the slaughtered. Out from a gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Lest our heart, drunk from the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadowed beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Ann Lewis, thank you so much. Well, at this time, I have another great privilege, and that privilege is of introducing you to the City of Hollywood's first ever annual Juneteenth founder. She's also the owner of Sweetie Hearts Cafe. Won't y'all welcome with us today the beautiful and outdone Mrs. Georgette.
Thank you. Beautiful welcome. Okay, at this time, I'm going to first, I don't know if any kids are here. Are there any kids here that enter into the art contest? If you are, please stand. Okay, stand up. Okay, we had two different groups. You can sit down, baby. Thank you. We had two different groups that entered into the contest. And if you want to see the pictures, they're all over the first floor. Did you guys see it? It is awesome. I was in tears when I saw those pictures. I appreciate all our babies that entered into this contest. Well, the age group for these babies are 6 to 8. And ages 9 to 11. Very small children painted those pictures. And gorgeous, gorgeous pictures. Well, I'm here to announce the winners of the art contest. In age group 6 through 8, Juliana Shook won first place. And I don't know her age, but I know she's between 6 and 8. And what she would win is the fire tablet Second place goes to Lincoln Marcel. And he will win a 121-piece art set. And third place is Sinai Adioba. And that's my grandbaby. I didn't even, and you know what, you guys? Honestly, they did not allow me to choose. So they did not know that was my baby. But she's right there. Come up, Sinai. Mr. Grisby, will you bring her prize? They would not let me vote either. I tried to. All right. Congratulations, baby. All right, you can sit down. All right, that's third prize for ages 6 through 8. Now, age group 9 through 11 are Michaela Clergo, Avia Bajar, and Maella Clergo will win a Samsung Elite tablet. Avia Bajar will win the 121-piece art set. And Olivia Riviera came in third place, and she get an art set as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
At this time, we're going to introduce our very special MC. If you know anything about the poetry scene, whether it's on the East Coast or the West Coast, whether it's downtown or midtown, you should know the name Butterfly. She is a Grammy-nominated spoken word. Watch out now. Yeah. Born and raised right here in the Miami area, a graduate of Northwestern Senior High. She's dedicated. Yeah, that's right. Y'all can give her some more woos. She's dedicated. She's a dedicated community servant. And this is the third time she will be judging, or she was going to be judging, but she stepped up to the plate today on the last minute to join us as today's very special MC. So y'all give her an extra special hand of applause. Butterfly.
All right, y'all ready to rock and roll? No, seriously, are y'all ready to rock and roll? Because I am. 3 is definitely a charm, as they say. And it is an honor, always an honor to be amongst the youth. They keep me motivated. They keep me staying in love with leaking my pen onto paper with or without lines. They keep me figuring out ways to weave the 26 letters of the alphabet. So I'm going to introduce you to our 3 judges that we have here, and then we're going to get into some poetry. Is that all right? That's all right? Okay. So your first judge here is a graduate of St. Thomas Aquinas High School. He is a decorated Miami Hurricane and Miami Dolphin football player. He created the Russell Life Skills and Reading Foundation, Inc., the Russell Life Skills and Reading Foundation's after-school program, and it has positively impacted the lives of over 20,000 low-income students from Broward and Miami-Dade counties, thereby exponentially improving students' chances of graduating from high school, attending college, and achieving meaningful employment. Give it up for the one and only Twan Russell. Of course, in between, we have the one and only Frankie Red Rosso. Goes by a poet, dancer, and radio personality named Red Words, and that's words with a Z, not an S. Got to put your own spin on it. That's the beauty of being a poet, poetic license. Her passion for poetry and spoken word have led her to many endeavors, including hosting her very own radio and television talk show, Red Light TV Live, on a 101.1 FM, serving on local slam teams, judging national poetry slams, featuring at various venues across the nation, exclusive nightlife events, as well as private parties and special occasions. Currently, Red hosts several events around around the country, ranging from fashion shows to open mics, manages a lifestyle blog about her travels and adventures in entertainment, serves as the content editor for the Phoenix Magazine, hosts and produces her Sunday radio show, Red Light TV, on a 101.1 FM, co-hosts the Phoenix Hour podcast on YouTube, and teaches dance classes for all ages and styles through her project Red Dance at Muse Center for the Arts and Dancers Element Studio in Fort Lauderdale area. Her mission: to merge the world of arts, music, fashion, and entertainment. Give it up for Frankie Red Russell. And of course, continuing with the three is a charm, your final judge at the end there. He is currently the senior site director for Breakthrough Miami, an 8-year tuition-free academic enrichment program that provides motivated middle school students from underserved communities the tools needed to achieve their most ambitious goals in life. While employed as Ransom Everglades School, he has concentrated his efforts on providing programming for underserved communities by acting as Haiti Initiative faculty advisor, Black Student Association faculty sponsor, the chess coach, and Scholastic chess program facilitator. Give it up for the one and only Weber J. Charles. All right, tonight's talented, actually there's 11 names on this list. So that makes it even more beautiful because 11 is actually my life path number. So we have representing Pace Center for Girls, and we have representing for Hollywood Hills. Are y'all ready for some poetry? Are your ears stretched out? Your mind's ready to get some poetry leaked into it? Your heart's open? Your soul's ready? Here we go. Coming up first to the microphone, I want you to put your hands together for Janiyah Bass, representing Pace Center for Girls.
The Great Movement, Janiyah Bass. The Great Migration is where Black Africans migrated from one place to another because they went through many hardships or felt like they had to move because they can't provide for their children. It's not right, but it happened. They led us there when we didn't want to leave our families behind, but we felt like we had to. Do you know how that feels? Do you really know what that feeling feels like to tell your child you can't give them what others have, when you can't provide them with their needs, or how you have this big hole inside your chest, tears rolling down your face, and you have your last gasp of air because they can't go to school or you don't have enough money for food? Tears roll down my face as I drive or walk past a homeless person on the street. I feel their pain and their suffering because they can't get a job, because we don't get paid enough. When we left our families behind so we would get paid enough to provide for our children. Do you know how that feels? No, you don't, because you have a well-paid job, a safe place to lay your head at night. You have food on the table for you and your children. You can provide for your child. And last but not least, you can afford for your child to get an education. So now we have arrived. More than 6 million African Americans migrated from the north to the south. From the south to the north. Yes, we won, but where are our jobs? Where will we live? And where would our kids go to school? We were driven from our homes and family because of unsatisfactory economic opportunities and harsh segregationist laws. Many blacks headed north where we took advantage of our industrial jobs because we needed the money to provide food, shelter, clothes, and education for our children. Study shows that us African Americans began to build new places for ourselves and the public life homes that we were supposed to be able to afford with the jobs we were supposed to get paid from. Yes, we won, but when are we going to wake up and realize the reality we live in and the world we live in? We need to help one another. And if not for each other, for our children. This is the Great Migration.
Yes. Keeping this show rolling, I want you to put your hands together for Samuel Davis, representing Hollywood Hills.
I'm not that tall, man.
You gonna be.
Nah, yes, ma'am. I switched up quick. All right, how y'all doing? All right. Fighting, hatred, killing, and war. It takes all these horrible things to go down for the white man to come to my town and say, we need your help to working in factories. At first, I was a little doubtful about it, but it was more pay. But in the back of my mind, I knew it go brave. But now I board a train, leaving everything I know behind, hoping to go to a new place to call home where I'm not confined. The sacrifices I had to make, my sister, mother, and father gone, and never knowing if I'll see them again. No phone calls or text messages vented, nothing to communicate to them with. It's been 1 month since I've been here, and from what I hear from my ears if we can't make them leave, we'll have to disappear. So some left and others storming in raids of destruction, taking some and killing others, not thinking about sons, mothers, and brothers, praying for it to end, putting my trust in God. But it's too slow, and I don't know whether or not that he exists anymore. Not because I don't believe, but how could he just leave so many bodies on the floor and not help out? My brothers and sisters getting hung up, and seeing this go on hurts worse than 5 sets of push-ups. But as I push up, I see the KKK in disguise. I begin to sympathize for the people getting brutally beat by men that are supposed to protect us, but deceit. All of a sudden, I see myself at their feet with my blood on the street when all I was trying to walk home, but I got lost in Wonderland like Alice. I was just trying to watch how messed up they treat us. Now I'm getting tossed around like salad. But all I did was watch, not trying to get caught up. Now I'm in this situation getting beat up. After the incident, I haven't been looking at how they treat us because I know firsthand. Years have gone by and I haven't made one white friend. It's all right though. I have a job working in factories, constantly working like an unlimited supply of batteries. But the war is done now, and I don't understand how the soldiers can return and say they want their jobs back. Their favorite thing to say was, how could people ever think of letting them work in factories because they're black? Black people belong in the South. They should be slaves or beaten up, hung up in graves. Now I have to go back to the South. Now I have to go back to the home of the Cottonmouth. And all because the white man said so, when it was the white man that needed my help in the first place. Now that I think about it, anything goes, but it's always in the fight. It's always in the favor of the white race. Thank you.
And he ended that line with the white race. Two words that I find to be kind of icky sticky because I fall within the midst of the middle line because unfortunately I can't relate to that. See, I never knew Grandma, but Grandma was a white Bahamian, disowned by her family when she married my father, who was blacker than the ace of spades, when they finally migrated, because this theme is migration, to Miami. They endured many oppressions. Knowing my own history, because you should know your own history as much as you know other people's history. Every time I drive down Biscayne Boulevard, I smile because my grandfather was one of the first 4 men to lay down Biscayne Boulevard when it was just rocks and water. See, he ended his line saying white race. But again, I can't relate to that because it's an icky sticky for me because I'm a part of both races. And you don't really know your history until you research your history and really learn your history. See, we as African Americans, colored folks, black folks, and on occasion, depending on whose face you come up against in any given day, they may call you the N-word still. When you know your history, you'll know that the white race was also very much defensive towards our race. I don't know if you know that Fannie Lou Hamer, she was protected and saved by the man whose home she cleaned and took care of. See, his wife painted a picture for him to let him know that his actions were not beautiful, were not pretty. So again, he ended his poem saying the white race, but for me, that's just two words that I hear, but I can't relate to because I'm a part of both the white race and the black race. I fuse the two together because at the end of the day, I'm hoping and praying that just black and white are only colors of clothes and shoes and homes and cars, as opposed to us making everything about race. All right. Judges, you ready for your third poet? Okay, we gonna bring up to the microphone Hannah Guerin. She's representing Pace School for Girls.
I'm short, sorry. The Great Migration, a nation that didn't let blacks or whites to hang out with each other or any other race, either to play board games. African Americans were not being recognized for their hard work. The Great Migration, where African Americans struggling to make sure their families staying alive, getting through this darkness, fighting for freedom, keeping this teamwork, pushing our loved ones towards safety so they won't be lynched. The Great Migration, where we still fighting for rights. Like Isabel Wilkinson said, our past generation went through hell and back for us today. That makes us who we are. We're warriors, victorious. We're not followers, we're leaders. The Great Migration changes us through racism and judging a book by its cover. I want to share with you amazing warriors, Michelle Obama, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., etc. You see, the Great Migration, in the past, there were slaves that had to give up their offspring because slave owners couldn't let slaves be happy as family together. The Great Migration. We have all suffered through it, but we will continue being hungry for our rights, also our destiny to freedom.
So as the judges tally up their scores, I'm an acronym junkie. I really am. And so I've given the acronym towards the word freedom, something for you to see the word in a different light. Faithfully resilient, encouraging, effective, divinely ordered, and manifested. That's who you are as individuals. Young men, young women, little boys, little girls. That's how I want you to start seeing the word freedom each and every day that you live. And know that, yes, you are born for a purpose. You're here on a mission. Catch 22, the first 4 letters of the word mission spells miss. So don't miss your opportunity to leave your mark here on the world's wall, like tattoos on bodies. All right. You ready for the next poet? Put your hands together for Jakari Gonzalez, representing Hollywood Hills.
How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? Everybody can hear me pretty good? Everybody good? All right, thank you, DJ. I like the intro. That was nice. All right. So I recently found out why some people are so afraid of African Americans. And this has nothing to do with the stereotype that all of us can fight, but it has to do with our ability to grind with determination and devotion using this amazing tool called the mind. See, this very tool has been reshaped time and time again, times T-H-I-N-K, it's time that we win. Watch these excuses down the sink that all of us will sink like the Titanic in our own Arctic Ocean of our minds. Lost a little bit right there, baby. All right. Sorry, since I wrote it kind of haphazardly, but my bad. These doubts that make us miss easy opportunities like, what if I mess up, or what if I can't? But while you're thinking all of this, there are people dying by the hands that are supposed to be protecting us. And because we're not in their unit, the police can sit outside and say whatever happens, happens and get away with it. But a black man like me walks past the police and just says a simple, hey, and they get scared. And that makes me think, why are our protectors so afraid of us? Well, it must be the system, right? Or is it the small group of people who do stupid stuff that make them all think that we're all alike? Is these little similarities that are so familiar, like the one that they tell us not to do, as in don't get scared and don't get scared and think before you act. But from what I just said, you see how easy it is to spread negativity in a forest full of positivity, and it still overpowers every little thought that you have once its army is big enough. And anyone who says otherwise is a major liar that fuels my fire along with desire to be better than the minds before me. The minds that were more worried about a job than education and trying to marry just to get some is no longer on my to-do list, on my hand-me-down refrigerator door with an alphabet magnet, so pulling each side apart into a standoff. One side is pulling towards isolation that's adjacent to desperation that can leave oneself contemplating. But now I want the audience to close their eyes and think about the word alone. Now imagine the images that were shown and just think, what if? What if someone came along and showed you that love can be shown by one gesture and watch the image change? Migrating into this mindset is the hard part of life when you're trying to put yourself in someone else's shoes. But it's even harder when stereotypes are the only clues as to who's right in life. There are always more than one side to a story. When all sides are told, then the story can have glory. But my question is for everybody in here, what story will you tell, and will they remember you? Thank you.
So how y'all living y'all dash? Are y'all living y'all dash to the fullest? Or is it gonna be a little bit of empty spaces and blotchy blocks between when you got here and when you're going back to the other side? Will the world know that you were here? Or are you just existing? Because age ain't nothing but a number, it's real 100. You can have someone been here only 7, 8 years and meet with demise and the church is full, no seats. And you can have someone been here 80 years, got 10 years past the promise, and there's empty seats in the church. So what kind of impact are you leaving behind every time you encounter someone for 10 to 15 minutes of conversation? No one should ever walk away from you empty, ever. Judges, you ready for the next person? Anila Grant, representing Pace Center for Girls.
Sorry, this is my first time doing this, so. Slavery, we made it. The Civil War, we made it. The Reconstruction era, we made it. The Jim Crow South era, one of the toughest trials we have endured, still made it. The treacherous journey from the South all the way to the North, we made it. And all the pain we have suffered, we made it. Now, how did we make it? Through the blood, the sweat, the heartbreak, the tears. We stuck together near and far. We told each other, do not worry, I'm here with you. We will make it through this. I promise. And we did. Just take a look around you. Look at what we made. Gas. We made that. The Harlem Renaissance. We made that. Activists, artists, journalists, musicians, doctors, surgeons, lawyers, governors, teachers, leaders, inventors, even actors. We made them who they are. If we did not take the risk, if we did not make it, we would never know. Diana Ross, Louis Armstrong, John Coltrane, and many others. But we did make it. So the next time you wake up for school or just for work, just think for a second, hey, we made it.
This one, I be glad I'm not a judge, because I get to cut a fool. Yeah, we made it. We made it. I said we made it. We made it. Wade in the waters, we made it. Deep in the darkness of the night with Harriet Tubman, we made it. Through all the lynchings, we made it. Through all the burnings, we made it. Through all the water hosing dogs, we made it. Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. So we're going to stay with this crew over here at Pace Center for Girls. And I'd like to bring up Miss Ibarra.
Dear Aunt Sally, it's Nana. I'm here, finally. I'm here. It's beautiful. Freedom, the North. Everything is beautiful. How did I not know? Watching the little kids pass by me, little girls are wearing bows, smelling fresh air. It reminds me of when we were daydreaming together. Everything is different. The way the people walk down the street as if they're lost reminds me of Big Brother Jonah. There are playgrounds, birds chirping, and even Sharona. Remember? Our old neighbor? I see her every day on the street, still walking with her sassy feet. How are you? How is mother? Is she still sick? Is she still cooking our Sunday beef stew? I miss you guys. It is lonely over here in the north. There's nobody to talk to besides Papa, and he rarely talks. He just plays his saxophone. I'm basically alone. Anyways, there's much more to tell. I'm keeping it short. Goodbye until later.
Well, I know one thing. I haven't had beef stew in a long time. And I used to make a mean pot of beef stew, too. I used to put carrots and potatoes. And I love the saxophone, especially somebody who know how to make it talk, who can wake up Grover Washington Jr. Oh, yes. You ready for the next poet, judges? All right. Coming up to the microphone, please let me know. I'm not sure if there's an ink ran out, so when I say it, you'll let me know if I'm right or wrong. Aliyan Jackson. It's a lead, and you know what? They say, I'm gonna let you know right now. Go with your first thought. Because I said to myself, I bet it's Aaliyah, and that's just it. The ink ain't come out on the copy, because it's in the shape of an N. Well, coming up to the microphone, her name is two people I love. The first name is Aaliyah, and that last name is Jackson, representing Hollywood Hills.
All right. Before I go, I just got to remind everyone to stay strong, be happy, you can get what you're going through. Just got that text as a reminder, so I'm going to remind y'all as well, all right? I would tell you how I feel, but you wouldn't understand. As they took me from my home and stripped me from my land, I had a set dream, but now that's all in the past. Still got that ringing in my ears from the bullets piercing her fast. Some of us fell running and crying. Can you imagine how I felt watching my family dying? Nothing to do, I can only look forward. Running from freedom, they simply ignored us. Our pleas for the madness to stop, hearing the guns go off. Our bodies held in bondage, want the ropes to come off. All I see is white taking my people of color. Government overthrown, just make my future look duller. I will tell you how I feel, but you wouldn't understand. Belonging is burning fire, allowing flesh and desire, whips and chains, cauterizing the will to inspire. This blood leaking out, either way, they call me a liar. But would you really trust a liar to take care of your little crier? I sit here aching, wondering if dying would be better. Can't express how I feel. Too illiterate to write a letter. I can't express how I feel. Too illiterate to write a letter. I will tell you how I feel, but you wouldn't understand. Finally getting the chance to be a free man, running so fast, trying to find a foreign land. The only music to inspire is the banging on these cans. Don't want to be included in the 2 million dying coastal raids involved in the slave trade. All these people are really trying to strip us of our dignity. It's working, my people are complying. Nonetheless, I would tell you how I feel, but you wouldn't understand.
Wasted conversations in your ears. I can talk for days about past years, but you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand. I can waste my breath for 20 minutes talking about my past, but you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand. Kind of makes me think of Nina Simone and her song, Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. Considering we are a race that have been misunderstood. From the brother walking down the street minding his own business and those car doors get locked real quick, that purse get clenched real tight, and this brother, they have no idea, he just trying to fight for his life just to make it to the next day. Getting 10 to 24 hours from the last 24 hours is his biggest challenge. He ain't studying you in your car or your person what's in it. He's just trying to get on his way, hoping that somewhere along the way, before days out, his breakthrough will come through for him, considering he's been going through. We just been misunderstood for so too long, and it's starting to sound like a sad, sad song. Better yet, it's just like James Ingram said, how do you keep the music playing when the beats fade out and the lyrics continue to be sad? Because we're tired of being misunderstood. All right, judges, y'all ready? So your next poet coming up is Lori Lauriston, representing Hollywood Hills. That's just it. The remaining poets are from Hollywood Hills. They just gonna ride y'all out and show y'all what they got.
Hi. Shrouded in a void, darker than our skin, enslaved by the man who stops at nothing to win. He first controlled our bodies with his whip, then he quickly took over our minds with the white man's sin. Lazy, impertinent, incompetent, the reputation was set, no stopping it. Bodies were free, but brains captivated, stuck in the belief that the darker your skin, the less your worth is, you're worthless. Malcolm told us it's not enough to know your rights. My children, you also have to fight. And we fought for what was ours by the voice of Rosa and MLK, but what we couldn't fight was the psychological damage that stayed. Conditioned into light is right, dark skin ain't the move, black women being disgraced, dismissed by their own dudes. Dark times had come. The Negro hated himself more than the white man ever showed true. Blood and Crip, dividers of a nation, shooting each other because we couldn't bear to watch a brother thrive. Master came back to remind us we needed him to survive. But this time he ain't have a whip. Now he carries a badge, baton, and a holster clip. But we started to see a change 5 years ago in July. Trayvon sparked a movement that made the entire community angry. Black Lives Matter screamed the strength of a society. From 3/5 of a person to 5/5 a whole, creating black empires to call one's own, calling the justice system out on its slavery, shedding a light that's never been shown. American girl dolls to African girl dolls. Grown women realizing that if black men refuse to love them, they'll learn to do it themselves. Psychological warfare to defeat the stereotypes preset. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the black mindset.
Seven is my number, seven is God's number, and it's 7 years that Trayvon Martin was taken away from us. And I'm still trying to figure out 7 years later how, when you were told not to get out of the car, you still did. He should still be here. 24 was a beautiful year for me, age-wise. So I imagine on any given day what Trayvon Martin would be doing at 24 years of age. Unfortunately, he's looking down from heaven, continuing to be the covering over his father and his mother and his brothers, as well as the others who loved him. Me, I will continue to do this poetry and keep it tight because that's our connection. I happened to be participating in a Black History Month program at Carroll City Senior High one year, and he was one of the students in the audience, and at the end he came up and he asked could he have a hug. I'm glad I gave him that hug, and then he went on to tell me that I was tight with this poetry stuff and to keep it up. So I'm hoping I'm making you proud. It's 7 years later and I'm still doing this poetry stuff. I guess I keep it right and tight because my daddy always told me, never pat your own back. Let the people do that because they can toot your horn a little bit louder than you can. And that is true. Me, I don't do this for bragging rights. I actually love what I do. I was born for this. I am new to this and true to this each and every time I step to a microphone because it's going to always be my first time. That's just how much I'm in love with this. So again, 7 is God's number, 7 is my number, but it's also 7 years since a beautiful spirit soul was snatched from us by someone who thought he was in authority, but unfortunately he wasn't. We will never really honestly know the truth because one is still alive to tell his portion and the other one is gone away. We'll never know if there was a state of distortion. I love names that challenge me, but I'm going to see if I got this right. Representing Hollywood Hills, Ifeanyi Uwadia. Ifeanyi Uwadia. All right.
I was born with a hand forming a fist. Strength was the first to cover me. Even before I could feel the weight of the world, I knew how to fight. Even before I could be lifted into my mother's hands, I was despised because of my skin and my gap-toothed grin, but I never took on a form of self-loathing. Instead, I realized that melanin clothed me and I wasn't about to strip because some didn't like what I wore. The truth is, though, the insult struck a chord and a bitter melody bloomed within me, unheard before. So I wrote out this tune. I took the fist I was born with and wrapped it around a pen. At the time, though, I could not turn my shame into sentences. My emotions could not agree with subject-verb agreements, so I broke my thoughts up into fragments. Nonsensical truth spit on a page, but pushed away like my pride. I was ashamed of it. Although I could not lyrically translate the black hate inside, I continued to fight it, like even today. When I hear the call to pledge, I remember backs beating, head bleeding, body hanging, arms dangling, early eulogy, systematic foolery, and instead of standing, I listened to the fury rising in my chest and I raised the fist I was born with. Not explaining why either, because the ignorant like to do this thing where they cover their eyes within the nation's flag and complain that they don't see the problem. They say that mass black incarceration isn't me, that police brutality isn't me, that those black bodies aren't me. So why should I be concerned? The repetition of this question caused me to write again, and eventually I learned to personify my passions, alliterate my anger, make metaphors out of my ideas, and this writing turned to performance. I no longer hide the words that people need to hear. Right here, I spit truth, hoping it reaches ears. It was in here that I bottled up my black hate and exchanged it for the fist I was born with, and I raised it proudly by my side.
So pump your fists in the air and wave them back and forth like you just don't care. I got power. You got power. We got power. 'Cause together we're stronger. That's what I'm talking about. All right. We just have 2 more poets to go. They will be representing from Hollywood Hills. Give it up so far for the poets that you've heard. Weave 26 letters of the alphabet in the microphones through into your ears, your heart, your soul, and your mind. After our last poet, we're going to turn it over to the DJ. The judges are going to recess so that we can tally and come back with the winners. And we also have a young lady that's going to be dancing, representing PACE, Center for Girls. And there's going to be some portraits taped up alongside here behind me because it's a part of her dance presentation. So are we ready for Khalil Wallace?
How you guys doing tonight? All right. We were first their tools, trying to make us equal by putting our kids in their schools. But nothing changed. We were treated the same. Anything went wrong, we were the first to blame. They pretended we didn't exist. Enter a building, they'd show us the exit. Wanted our help because of a war. Had to pack our stuff and travel far. On our way, with tools in hand, even in the North, we battled with the Ku Klux Klan. For us colored folks, things started to look bright. Took the white man's place without a fight. It was different in the North, a little easier. When they got back, it was like immediate. They destroyed our plans, yelling at us to get off their land, but it was the white man that asked us to come here. I don't care whose land it is. I'm telling you, this isn't fair. No matter where we go, it's still the same. We're just Negroes in the white man's game. They want to see me run and hide. They do anything to stop a black man's pride. They want me to commit suicide because all they can see is their side. I can see the divide. It's always about what the white man wants, black people getting hit on their backside. This segregation has been going on worldwide. It's up to the black people to push segregation aside. Thank you for your time, fellas.
I don't know about y'all, but this was that jam. I don't know about y'all, but that's my favorite part of the song. I think they had fun in the studio when they was recording this. I'm serious. I can just imagine, play that back. Because that's what we be doing, playing that back. So, this last poet has two beautiful names that I love that represent music. So her first name is Natalie. For Natalie Cole, rest in peace. And her last name is Wilson. For Nancy Wilson, rest in peace. Representing Hollywood Hills, closing out our third annual Talented 10th Poetry Slam, presented by Hollywood, City of Hollywood, that is, in the African American History Program. Give it up for the one and only Natalie Wilson.
It's like you put a shield over my eyes, or special glasses that make me see myself as less of you, that makes me see you as superior, or give you a certain power over me. Seeing through these eyes you gave me is like looking through a broken mirror with you in my ear filling in the missing pieces. Telling me my skin looks like this because I was doing the work you were too lazy to do yourself. Your words tie me down in the bed of your lies with you standing over me, blinding me in my own insecurities. Telling our boys our girls are too dark for them and they should worship yours instead. You had our minds back then, delivered to you in a sweet little box with a bow on top. But through time, our minds started to migrate back to our heads. We started to love ourselves with flaws and without. Taking off the glasses you forced on our faces. The migration of our minds threatens you, backs you in a corner, makes you feel as small as we did. But we're not circling you. We learned that just wiping off your lies off our skin shows that you are no longer in control. The calmness of my voice shows that you no longer bother me. That you no longer bother me. This makes you want to act out like a kid throwing a tantrum, breaking his toys. poking and pushing our buttons trying to get us to react. But this doesn't bother us. It just furthers our migration of our minds back to when we were kings and queens. You no longer have control over us. And don't you forget that.
Exactly. Give it up for those representing Hollywood Hills and those representing Pace Center for Girls. So now the hard part comes, and that's tallying up to see who our winners are for this evening, although they're all winners, because at the end of the day, it is not easy to get up here. But they did. They spoke. We heard, we felt, we enjoyed, we're grateful. And so at this time, the judges are going to recess. You all can recess as well. The DJ is going to spin some music, and we're going to get ready for our dancer to dance for us. Her name is Zanaya Hearns. Actually, she did amazing and awesome. And you can tell she knows how to even mentally multitask because she made sure that she didn't get caught on this little gadget here in the ground during her performance. So she is definitely a professional and can perform in the midst of any situation and scenario where technicalities may be a part of the picture. So give it up one more time for Zanaya Hearns, representing Pace Center for Girls. Of course, at this time, I'd like to send a thank you shout out to the beautiful Patricia Williams in the back who tallied up the scores. That's not an easy task. And at this time, it is my honor, privilege, and pleasure to introduce to you the one who is a part of a company that represents sponsoring the beautiful gifts that our 3 prize winners will receive tonight at the 3rd annual Talented 10th Poetry Slam. So at this time, I'd like to bring to the microphone the one and only Daphne Dilbert of the AT&T Pioneers.
Keep this sweet and simple, but all of you did a good job. When Anthony asked me years ago for help with this event, I was super excited. So every year we sponsor the gifts. Last year was tablets. This year you're getting smartwatches. So 3rd place gets a Motorola smartwatch. 2nd place is going to get a Samsung smartwatch, and 1st place is going to get an Apple smartwatch. Woo, congratulations. 3rd place, is, I'm gonna mess her name up. You said it earlier and I'm still gonna mess it up, sorry. Ifanya? Wadia? Great job. 2nd place is, oh Lord, Nyla Grant. We made it. Who gets the smartwatch? Apple. Ooh, jump around. All right, number 1, Lori Lorestad. Don't leave, students. I need a group picture. That's why you sign the media release form. And if you make the paper, I'll send it to your leaders.
Ba-da-doo-da, baby, da-da-doo-da, ba-da-doo-da. Baby, da-da, you just don't pop, you know, ba-da-boo-da. Baby, ba-da-boo-da. She made a hit when she wrote this song. She can be the next female Lenny Williams. Because Lenny Williams been riding out on Cause I Love You for 46 years. He ain't made a hit song after that. So Miss Ella Mae might be the new Lenny Williams and just ride out on boot up for the next 46 years. Well, all good things must come to an end. Nothing lasts forever, at least in certain situations, but you do have what you call memories. So definitely, hopefully tonight will be unforgettable to you and something you will cherish for the rest of your life, especially the poets that participated. And, you know, the winners, all of you are winners. And of course, it's beautiful that you got smartwatches, and it's called a smartwatch because you are smart. Don't let anybody tell you different. Make sure that you always watch for wanting to be better and greater at what you do. Time is a beautiful thing, but if you spell time backward, it spells the word emit. So make sure that you emit negativity out of your life. Make sure that you emit procrastination out of your life. And most of all, make sure that you emit excuses out of your life. Your environment is only where you have come from. It does not make you. You were born to be great. Embrace that, acknowledge that, walk in your purpose, dance in your purpose, most of all, sing in your purpose, leave your mark. Until next time, I've been your MC, the one and only Rebecca Butterfly Bonds. I'm going to turn it over to give you closing remarks and send you home to your next destination, the one and only Anthony Grisby.
Did we hit jackpot with Butterfly? Or did we hit jackpot with Butterfly? Just off the cuff, thank you very much. We hit it at the park with Dalvis Martin, our DJ. Thank you very much. And again, it was a wonderful event. I always love the energy in this room. We think we ought to do this again next year? I think so too. This tree bears fruit. Thank you. Good night.